Haki Go Home, en racistisk graffiti på en mur i Birmingham, eller Shazia Mirzas mor, der siger, at hendes datter skal komme hjem til aftensmaden. Mirza er vel den eneste religiøse og muslimske og kvindelige stand-up-komiker i verden, og hun tager mildt sagt pis på det hele, Taliban, tørklæder og tvangsægteskaber. Er det muslimsk humor? Jeg talte med hende for et par timer siden.
I just want to talk to you about suicide bombers. Yeah?
Kan man lave grin med krig og selvmordsbomber? Selvfølgelig kan man det, mener den 27-årige Shazia Mirza, der fyrer racistiske vittigheder af, som ville stemple en hvilken som helst hvid komiker som racist.
I was reading this magazine last week, and there was a picture of a Muslim woman with a bomb strapped to her. It said, "Does my bomb look big in this?"
Som troende muslim vil hun ikke gøre grin med Allah, kun med alle de latterlige restriktioner, det muslimske mandssamfund har fundet på i Allahs navn.
And in Saudi Arabia, the Muslim women are not allowed to drive cars. Because they can't bloody see where they're going.
Det hvide publikum griner befriet, det gør de muslimske kvinder også, men de muslimske mænd er vrede på hende og holder sig væk.
In Afghanistan, the women are not allowed to wear high heels because the click of the heels is meant to attract men. All goats have now been locked up.
To Deadline.
Hello.
Hello.
Deadline.
Deadline.
Oh my God.
A great name,
Is it
isn't
serious?
it? It's very serious. It sounds like this in the word, Deadline.
Deadline.
I last saw you in a performance in Wood Green in a pub called The Lordship.
Right.
Outside London.
Very glamorous.
Very glamorous. It was very hot, and it was, you know, almost frantic. The audience was very local and purely white. You entered the stage, and the first 2 minutes, nobody laughed at all. Everybody was looking very nervous at each other. Is it okay to laugh? Can we laugh about this? Is it still like that?
No, it's not like that, because now more people have seen me, and they're desperate to laugh, because, you know, Muslims have got such a serious attitude about them, and everybody just wants to laugh because it's just gone so ridiculous.
But you know, in this country still, and I believe also in parts of Britain, when a white male jokes about Muslims' women's mustache, it's regarded as quite racist.
Yes,
is it racist?
Yes, because if I made jokes about white men, right, that would be racist because I'm not a white man myself. I make jokes about my moustache because I have one, and I'm an Asian Muslim woman, and we all have them.
But if I make a joke about your moustache, am I a racist?
Well, I wouldn't say you are racist because it's just a moustache. But if you started saying, oh, you Paki, or making jokes about my religion or my culture, other people might think that's racist because you're making jokes about another culture.
But do you think it's racist?
Yes, it could be offensive.
But you are making jokes about all this.
I'm making jokes about myself.
Right, and that's
I never say all Muslims are like this.
Right.
Or all Muslim women have moustaches. Only some of us.
The lucky ones. According to general knowledge, specific nations can have specific senses of humor. People talk about a British sense of humor, a Jewish sense of humor, whatever that is, but is there any kind of Muslim sense of humor?
I think that the Muslim sense of humor is still in development. It hasn't yet evolved. I am trying to make it evolve over time. Everybody's very serious. But I just came back from Germany, and I think that their sense of humor is also evolving very slowly. I mean, they didn't understand everything I said. They wanted me to trip over, fall over the stage, fall over banana skins and be stupid, and that's their sense of humor. And mine is a very British sense of humor. But I'm still Muslim. I make jokes about my culture.
But develop a little bit more on that Muslim sense of humor. What is it?
What is it?
Yes.
You're asking me.
Yes,
I mean, I don't know what it is, you know. Muslim sense of humor has not existed before now. I mean, there's never been a Muslim female stand-up comedian before now. And really, you know, women are encouraged not to be outspoken, not to be loud, not to have positions of power. So that humour has been suppressed.
Why?
Because it's not part of our culture. And it's all right for the men to be powerful in positions of power, but it's such a serious religion. They think that you can't laugh and be religious, but you can. I think if your faith is strong enough, you should be able to laugh at it.
After September 11, there's been much talk about the Muslim nations or Arabic nations' lack of confidence and, you know, confusion and so on. How does this affect the ability to laugh?
There has been conflict, did you say?
A lot of talk about this confusion and, you know, lack of direction in the Arabic world.
I think the Arabs know exactly what they're doing. I think they're very much in control, but not of their sense of humour. They're very serious. It's very black and white. They believe that Islam is a set of rules, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you follow those rules, and there are no, you can't go outside that. You can't expand on that. But it's not that rigid, our religion. You know, you don't really have to live by the rules. You can have a sense of humour. People don't remember that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that he had a sense of humour. He used to laugh with his friends and joke with his friends, but people don't like to talk about that.
But where did it get lost, that ability to laugh? Where did it disappear?
I think it got lost when people started believing that you should all live by Sharia law. You should all be very serious and fanatical about your religion. If you're not fanatical, then you're not a Muslim. It is that kind of extreme. And people like Bin Laden and Saddam Hussein, they're very extremist. You don't have to live like that. You know, Islam is a very peaceful religion. It's not about bombs and moustaches and having 10 wives. It's not.
We were just talking about Saddam Hussein just outside before. Where did you say he was hiding his weapons?
People keep asking me where I think Saddam is hiding his weapons. Yes. And I say, for a joke, I say he's hiding them up his wife's purdah because nobody looks up there. So obviously they're there.
Maybe he doesn't either.
He doesn't look up there either.
But, right, you once told me also that young Muslim men have reacted quite bitterly against your jokes. Are they still doing that?
I think that they're scared of me. I think that they don't like that a woman is standing up telling jokes. Muslim men have been in control for many years. They don't like it when a woman is starting to take control. And I think that young Muslim men are worried about what I do because they think that their wives or their sisters or their daughters might want to do what I'm doing, and that means that they lose their control over them.
But Shazia Mirza, you are a religious woman. You wear a headscarf.
That is right.
Yes.
Only when my hair is greasy.
Then you have to marry a Muslim man, I guess.
I have to
How can you marry a man who is afraid of you?
Well, they can't all be afraid of me. There must be somebody that has my sense of humour and respects what I do and can laugh at what I do. I just haven't found him yet. Although I'm very I really like George Clooney, and I'm hoping maybe he could convert to Islam.
I'm sure he will.
Yes.
When seeing you. Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ja, det var altså Shazia Mirzas overskæg, der bandt en fin sløjfe om denne fredags Deadline. I morgen er jeg tilbage med en anden kvinde, ugens kvinde i den danske kunstverden. Hun er blevet...
I can't let ignorant people stop me from doing what I want to do when I'm just telling jokes. If you want to go and do a man's job, what is seen as a man's job, you can still do it. Just because society says you can't do it, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. But you can, you know, you don't have to be overweight to be a feminist, you know. I started performing really from a very young age. I mean, my parents were very strict, and so they wanted me to be a doctor, and they wanted me to be very normal. But I always wanted to be on the stage. I knew, like, when I was 7 years old that I wanted to be on the stage, but my parents would never allow me. So I was in all the school plays. I played Mary Magdalene in the school play, and I took over the show. It turned into a comedy, and I knew from then that I always wanted to be on the stage. I don't know why I started to perform, but all I know is that that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to perform, but it seemed like it was going to be an impossibility. it seemed like, you know, I can't do this because my parents won't let me, the community will not approve, no Asian woman has done it before. It's not a really good thing. It's not encouraged for women to be performers. And there were so many barriers that actually I forgot about it for a while. And I thought, oh, maybe I should just study. But I couldn't let it go. I had to perform. I feel the need to be on the stage. Oh, it's freezing in Denmark. Where would they sell newspapers? Right, I'll have to ask somebody. My parents wouldn't let me perform because they are very strict Muslims. They're very religious. And my mum and dad are from Pakistan, and they came over to England in the 1960s, and they brought all their values with them and their culture, and they didn't want to change. They wanted to carry on living the way they did, but just in England. And they were very religious, and my dad was very strict. He was a typical Pakistani father who wasn't as religious as my mum, but culturally he was quite strict. Like, he wouldn't let me wear skirts, he wouldn't let me talk to boys or have any English friends. He would take me to school, pick me up, and then after school he'd take me to the mosque. And he was very, very strict. I was never allowed to do anything. And I never did anything in my life, actually, till I was about 19, when I went to university. And I really started to discover who I was and having the courage to do what I wanted to do.
No,
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very, very warm Copenhagen welcome to Shazia Mirza.
Hello. It's nice to be in Denmark. Yes. Where people can speak English and have a sense of humor. I've just come back from Germany, where I found it very difficult. Not only did they have a language problem, they also had a sense of humor problem. But I really like it because in Denmark, everybody's really relaxed. You know, in Germany, they were so efficient. Everything was in order. So I went on stage and I said, I know you Germans like to be efficient, so let's get this show over and done with as quickly as possible. Now, can everyone speak English? That's a really good start. Ha, ha, ha. He said what? Now, I'm really pleased to be here tonight because my dad has let me out for the night. So I'm not going to stay here long. He's picking me up in 10 minutes. He thinks this is a library.
Most comedians talk about their life. And when I first started writing comedy, my teacher would say, you know, talk about the truth, because the truth is funny. You don't need to make it up. So I would talk about my life, like growing up and what my parents were like and how life was for me. And, you know, it's really great that I can stand on stage and in a funny way really entertain people. But at the same time, I have a voice and I'm in control. And I love being on the stage. I love performing.
Are there any Muslims in here tonight? No? Good. As you can tell from my headdress, my hair is greasy. Yes. But I am Muslim, and just like my English friends, I can't get a man either. But at least my parents might be able to find me someone. Or I can marry my cousin.
I think I make fun of the ironic situation that I'm in, you know. I am a practicing Muslim woman and I'm a stand-up comedian. and I can't drink and I can't smoke, yet I go into all these places where everyone's drunk the whole time. And it's like my view of the world.
My mum has been trying to marry me off for a long time now, ever since I was 18 months old. And she would show me pictures of men from Pakistan with hairy chests and moustaches with handlebars. I once saw the Pakistani version of Freddie Mercury, but he didn't have a passport. But when we were kids, all my cousins and relations would come round to the house and there would be matchmaking going on. You know, when you are 16, you are going to marry Mohammed's second cousin. He's not born yet, but when he is, he's the one for you. I was once introduced to this Muslim guy and he said, "How do you feel about moving in with my parents after the kids are born?" I said, "Hold on a minute. What's your name?"
My mum saw me at the London Palladium, and I don't think she understood what I was talking about. But I think that my dad, he doesn't really like watching me because he just thinks it just shouldn't be done. He just thinks I should get married. That's all he says, get married. All the time. Boring. Ah, here we have the newspapers.
I went to Mecca, not the bingo hall. In England, we have bingo halls called Mecca, which is strange, really, because we're not allowed to gamble. But last year I went to Mecca to repent my sins, and I had to walk around the Black Stone. All the women were dressed in black, so you could only see their eyes. And I felt a hand touch my bottom. I ignored it. I thought, I'm in Mecca. It must be the hand of God. But then it happened again. I didn't complain. Clearly, my prayers have been answered.
I don't think that there is any limits, because as long as you're funny enough and clever enough, and you can say what you want to say through humor. You know, after September the 11th, I thought, oh, I can't make any jokes, but you know, then I did the pilot's license, which became the most famous joke in the world.
My name is Shazia Mirza. At least that's what it says on my pilot's license.
And I just thought, you know, at the time I thought, oh, I can't make jokes. But you can always find a way of doing it, of bringing humor to any situation or making people see through humor. It's very serious things. I did a show recently where the audience was all black. I did an audience recently where all the audience was gay and lesbian. And I did one audience recently where the audience was all Muslim gays and lesbians. Now, I was really scared because I thought, you know, I can't get a husband, but maybe I'm going to get a wife. And I was really worried about it because I didn't know that such a place existed where there would be a society full of Muslim gays and lesbians from all over the world. And it was a dinner and dance, and they asked me to come and do stand-up comedy. And I was really scared, but it was really great. And I feel that my comedy is for everyone.
Now, last year I went to Saudi Arabia, and in Saudi Arabia, the Muslim women are not allowed to drive cars because they can't bloody see where they're going. But the women in my family all use the same bus pass. That is the end of the joke, sir. Are you waiting for more punchline? No, there are no more.
Well, the worst thing that has ever happened was when I was attacked on stage in London. Some Muslim men jumped on the stage and attacked me and said that I shouldn't be doing stand-up comedy because I was a woman and I was a disgrace to my religion and a disgrace to my culture. And I was really shocked and I had to get off the stage. It was really horrible. Really, I thought, you know, I'm only telling jokes. This is not a war. You know, when you think about it in proportion, it's just, I'm just telling jokes.
Have you got a hot chocolate?
I'll pretend I can read Danish. When people say to me, oh, you know, you're the first Muslim female stand-up comedian, I think, well, you can understand why there hasn't been many before me. Because it's a very rigid religion. You know, there are rules, you have to stick to the rules. And there is also the cultural aspects where maybe women wanted to do it before me, but they were scared. What will people think? What will the community think? What will my parents say? Oh, it's not worth the risk. It's not worth the hassle that I might get from people. And, you know, I've had a lot of hassle. You know, a lot of people have criticized me saying, you know, you're a Muslim woman, you shouldn't be doing stand-up. You shouldn't be making jokes. You shouldn't be standing on the stage where people are drinking alcohol. So many people have criticized me. Maybe women before me thought, I'm not prepared to go through this hassle to do what I want. It's just not worth it. Whereas I took risks and I've taken a lot of stick from people. You know, I've had threats and Muslim men say you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. But I thought, no, what I'm doing is right. The Quran gives women a lot of power. It says women can be in positions of power. Women can be on the stage. So our culture has just made up these rules, which are not actually true. And the truth is that I can do this.
Now, have you had vagina monologues in Denmark?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I was in vagina monologues in London, and they asked me to write a monologue on Muslim vaginas. Yeah, so they said, can you describe what Muslim vaginas are like? I said, Muslim vaginas are like the Channel Tunnel. It's not that they're long. It's just that there's lots of Taliban trying to get in. Right.
Well, when I was growing up, Madonna really inspired me because she was a very strong woman and she did what she wanted to do regardless of what anybody thought. I didn't want to be like her. Like, I didn't want to go around running around in my knickers on the stage or anything like that. But she was a very strong woman who did what she wanted to do, and she upset lots of people. Like, she upset the Vatican, but she still went on and did what she wanted to do. And she became really successful, and people respected her. And in that sense, I was inspired by her strength as a woman, that I should do what I want to do. Like, I was inspired by Margaret Thatcher, who was the Prime Minister of Britain, that I loved the fact that she was a woman in a male-dominated business, and she was good at what she did in that business. I hated her politics, but I thought she was great as a woman.
In Afghanistan, the women are not allowed to wear high heels because the click of the heels is meant to attract men. All goats have now been locked up. In Afghanistan, Taliban means student. And they have a lot in common with students. They don't shave. They both get stoned and talk bollocks. And their mothers walk in and say, "Oi, it looks like a bomber's gone off in here."
I just hope to make people laugh, really. I mean, it's really great when you go somewhere, like I went to Germany and there was 4,000 people came to watch me. Not one of them was black, not one of them was Asian. It was a really white place. And yet, we were all laughing together. And I think that's great when you can go somewhere, do your comedy, and everybody laughs together. And at the same time, you're telling them about your life. So they may not know anything about Muslim women or about Islam, but they're able to laugh at the situation. And, you know, maybe I've made them think. Maybe I've told them something that they didn't know. Maybe, you know, I've changed their perception of the way they think about Muslims or about women or about Muslim women. Maybe they never thought a woman was funny, and then they saw me and they thought, God, you know, women are funny. And, you know, they don't have to talk about sex and drugs to be funny. They can talk about religion and politics and still be funny.
But when I went to Germany, everybody kept getting on my case saying, "Don't mention the war." I said, "What do you mean, the Second World War?" They kept saying, "Don't mention the war or the score, the football score." But they kept asking me, you know, what do I think this war is about? And I said, I think it's about oil, hair oil. Saddam's hair is looking very greasy. But, you know, the Germans kept saying, we don't want a war. We want to be neutral. Every time we get involved in the war, people blame us. This time, they're not involved in the war, and we're still blaming them. Why aren't you in the war? It's not the same without you.
For so long, men have dominated comedy, and men have always thought, you know, nobody can be funny apart from men, and it's always been a male point of view. And I think it's got boring over the years, and I think now women are really in control, and they have a voice, and they're giving their opinions, and they're making people laugh as well. And I think it's really refreshing. The difference between male and female comedy is that female comedy is funny. Male comedy, well, we've heard it all before. It's all the same. And I think women are a lot more intelligent. They give a different perspective. They talk about much deeper, meaningful things and important things. And they're just clever on the whole. I think I get my strength from believing in myself. That I have to believe in myself. You have to believe in yourself and what you do. Because so many times people don't believe in you. They don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, or they don't understand why you're talking about the subjects you talk about. And you have to believe in yourself, really. So I have the strength of my religion. I think that is an important thing for me. And I think that maybe in the future, now it will be easier for the women that come after me. Because now then, if somebody wants to be a stand-up comedian, they can say, well, Shazia Mirza did it, so it's all right. I would like to make a film with George Clooney. He's just wonderful. I think I'm falling in love with George Clooney, and I'd like to make a film with him.